I think it's best to learn the distance formula. So I think it's best to learn the distance formula when it's in a graph like this, okay? Can I count the length of that line? Can you just count? Yes or no? Does it go? I asked, can I count the distance? If it's side to side, we can. Like if I counted over 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But that's not the length of the black line. What does that actually represent? That 4 and 10 would help me find what thing? The 10 and the 4 actually help us find the slope of that line. Would it be 10 over 4 or 4 over 10? The slope. Well, that'd be run over rise. So we want to go rise over run, so it'd be 10 over 4. Now, what kind of shape did that almost make? Does that make like a square? Triangle. So what you could do here is you could just do the Pythagorean theorem, right? What would be your C? Would that be the black line, the red, or the 10? For A, B, C, A squared, B squared, C squared, what would be your C? The black line. Good job. So the C would be black. We'll call A4 and we'll call B10. Okay. I honestly like this more than the distance formula because the distance formula gets a little bit frustrating and just really mathy, if you will. So that gives me 116. How do I get C alone? Square root both sides. Good job. Square root both sides. So I would end up with radical 116. Now, next year, your teacher's not going to want you to leave that as a radical, as a big radical. They'll want you to break it down. They don't want it as a decimal either. So is there a number that can divide 116? Is it even? Yep. So we can divide it by 2. So 116, that's, is that 58? Can you divide 58 by 2? Think so. Is that 27? No. 20 something. 29? Now, 2, 2, and 29 are all prime numbers, huh? Have we been talking about prime numbers in here? I think so. Trying to be intentional with that. So again, every time you have a pair, you can actually pull that out of the radical. And then whatever's at the end of a tree that doesn't have any friends to come out with, it's got to stay on the inside. So it becomes 2 square root 29 equals C. Yes, that is a decimal, but I'm trying to prepare you for next year. You're not going to be able to turn that into a decimal. Okay? Trying to leave it like that. How we doing, Mr. Tough skill. Scroll up. Now, again, the formula that we want to work with here, I'll scroll back down in a second, is where the points are in the form x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. That hopefully is somewhat familiar from slope, okay? And the way you would get the side of a triangle when you're on that coordinate plane, you would subtract those x values and you would subtract those y values. And you would get that Pythagorean theorem shape to it. And then to get that C alone, you would actually have to square root both sides. So the actual formula here is this. So that's how we work with the distance formula. Is it stems from the Pythagorean theorem. We'll get some practice with this tomorrow. Thanks for working hard.